Are you tired of spending time with these dusty-ass fuckboys taking you to McDonald's? Well, today we're going to be turning your Discover card into a black card. I'm gonna take you. Today, I will be taking you from New Jersey to Gangnam with this super easy to follow beauty routine that is inspired by the Gangnam Girl signature. And I'll walk you through some of the beauty trends, tips, and tricks on how to replicate the signature style. So let's get into it. All right, so before we start, I just want to let you guys know about my school called Hyperreal Academy at hyperrealacademy.com. And I'm a permanent makeup instructor where I help my students get licensed in all 50 states. Permanent makeup is the reason why I have financial freedom and independence, why I'm not stressed every single day. Permanent makeup is what gives me work-life balance. It helps me connect with members of my community and really make a difference in a positive way. So if you think that you might be interested in doing permanent makeup as your career, go on hyperrealacademy.com where we can license you in all 50 states. We can provide continued education and also get you board certified with the AAM. First, we're going to start off with the Flawless Skin base. We're going to be focusing on dewy, glassy skin. And for today's glassy skin look, I'm going to be mixing the Hourglass Vanish Primer with a glowy, radiant serum. I chose the Hourglass Vanish primer because it is by far the best product for oily to combination skin because it hydrates all the combination parts and it chills out the super greasy, oily parts. So next we'll be going into our foundation. I want this to be a more full coverage look, so I will be doing the foundation first. This is the Pat McGrath one, best one on the market, hands down. And just apply it with your finger, wipe the rest on your leg, keeping it classy, and just gently buff it into your skin. This formula is perfect. It's nice and lightweight, but it provides a very impressive amount of coverage. And I'm not going to do complete coverage. This is full coverage to me, so I'm pretty happy with where it's at right now. I'm going into my concealer. This is going to be the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. So now I'll be using this concealer to take care of the under eyes, and then I'll be taking care of some of the pimples. And I popped a lot of pimples on my chin, so my chin is pretty angry. So today, because I chose to wear foundation, I'm not expecting my concealer to be doing all of the heavy lifting, so I'm just going to very generally and loosely blend it out. But if I were to just use concealer to spot conceal, I would use a small brush. So now the coverage is pretty full, and I feel like my face is looking a little bit like a mask right now. So this is something that I usually avoid for day-to-day makeup, but when you want to do full coverage like this, expect it to look a bit heavier, a little bit cakier. So this is where we're going to introduce a little bit of shadow, and I like to use my liquid contour for this one. I would always put the product on the back of my hand. I'll be using a large angled brush today. I will start chiseling out the cheek little by little, starting from the bottom of the cheekbone and moving my way upward, pointing towards the temple, and repeat on the other side. Make sure not to let your cheekbone contour get too low. You should want it to rest a little bit higher than where your cheekbones naturally are. And now would be a good time to take your contour and do either your jawline or your temple. Next, we're going to be working on our eyebrows, and today I'll be using a brow pencil from the Brow Gal. And a pencil routine is really simple. All you have to do is follow your natural hair growth, starting from the root, moving on up to the tip. And if you have very, very, very sparse brows, you can always carve them out following the golden ratio. And I do have a really good video on that on this channel. So for this routine, I do want the brows to be bolder. I want this to be a slightly more glam version of the my features but better type of routine. So you see the difference between the done brow and the not done brow? I think that having bolder brows just makes you look more elegant, more refined. I really do think that this makeup look is going to read as very professional and polished. And this next step is optional, but you can take a brow gel. I'm going to take the Brow Lac from Izamaya, and I will be using this product to pick up the brows, but only at the arch and the tail, just to lift them up a little bit further. And this lifted effect is very youthful, and it gives your eyes more energy. And now moving on to the eye makeup, going in with a clear eye primer. This one's from Urban Decay. And you can choose whichever neutral eye palette. Make sure your neutral eye palette has a decent amount of browns and taupes and maybe a gray. So just match to whatever outfit you're wearing and I'm choosing this one. So I'm going to start with this color on the bottom, and I'll be using this light brown color on the corner of the eye, starting from the outer corners, sweeping toward the tail of the brow. This will give you a very nice chiseled look, and I like to call this the Hollywood sweep. It doesn't matter what kind of eye shape you have, everybody benefits from a lift. And then take this same color into the inner corner of the eye where you want to create a little more dimension. Take this color from the inner corner of the eye, skipping the very inner corner right here where we're gonna leave it for our highlight. So you take this color all the way up towards the lid and point this color towards the underside of the brows, so right where your brow bone is. And this will give your eyes a lot more dimension. It'll make them look a lot more open. Today we're going to be doing a more open eye effect, so your eyes actually look a lot more open when you cast more shadows, especially at the brow bone. And doing this will give you the effect of deeper set eyes, which works on a lot of Asian people. But if you already have deep set eyes, I would skip this step entirely. I wouldn't contour it too much. I'm going to keep it very light and neutral for now. I would take this medium gray in the middle on a small brush, add a little bit of darkness to the outer corner, but not enough to make it a full-blown smoky eye look. I'm just going to add a little more dimension. Then, mixing the two colors from earlier, I will be sweeping this neutral brown under the lower lash line. Right past the waterline, make sure to leave that clean, and gently diffuse this color so it looks like a nice little casted shadow. So you don't want any part of this eye look to have too much structure. You want this to be very nice and soft, but you also want it to cast a very deliberate shadow so that it opens up your eyes instead of closes it. So now that we left the inner corner bare, we can go in with a clean brush, use a highlight shade like this one from Flower Nose. Look at how pretty, oh my goodness. And then starting from the inner corner, turn your brush to the side and okay, this is kind of a weird angle, but take this highlight and start sweeping it up towards your natural contour of your eyeball. I don't want to say crease because some people's creases be all the way down here. Just follow your eyeball instead and give that sweeping highlight. So now you see the eyes look a lot more open than they did before with just that shadow. You also need the highlight in order to complete the look. And don't use a chunky metallic color. It's always better to use a face highlight for this one. I'm still getting PTSD over the intro I just did for this video. So you see you get a much brighter, much more awake kind of look, and that's when you highlight more excessively in the inner eye corner. Next, take a pen liner and you can give yourself a little wing, a very small one, and the wing's gonna help open up the eyes even further. And for the final touch, you can take a white liner and go into the waterline, starting from the middle of the eye, point it very gently towards the inner corner. And this really brightens up the eye a lot more, and this really further enhances that surprised look on your face when you find out that the restaurant he's taking you to does not in fact have a Michelin star. Okay. Oh my god, I feel like I could totally be somebody's nightmare. Okay, today's lash is going to be from House of Lashes. The name of it is called either Love and Light or Peace and Love, but this lash is so perfect. It's got just the right amount of volume, so I always love having a short lash length and a really dramatic curl. Pretty heavy volume for today. And then add some lower lash mascara. Okay, next we're gonna take our pen liner. We're gonna use this liner to connect our lash strip to our lash line and just fill the gap between your lashes and your lash line. And the lower lashes, in my opinion, make a really big difference in just opening your eyes very, very wide. So when you're picking lashes out, make sure you pick something with a shorter length and a more intense curl. So this is the eye look, and let's zoom out. Next, we're gonna be going into the blush, something that's a little bit lighter and pinker, like this NARS Orgasm powder blush. Oh, this blush kind of sucks. And for this look, make sure to keep your blush focused on the apple of your cheeks. And the best way to find the apple of your cheek is just to smile, pop them out. I challenge you to find one person who doesn't look like a psychopath when they're doing this part of the look. All right, that's enough smiling for me. Nobody's paying for my dinner, I don't need to smile. And keeping the blush in the center of your cheeks, this will help a lot in making your face look a little bit youthful, a little more round, and that actually makes the whole entire look just a little bit lighter. And this is the part where you want to consider using a mattifier for your T-zone. I'm just going to use HD powder. There's nothing too much to mattify right now. but I do want to blur the pores. So I'll be taking HD powder under the eye, over the nose. This will help trick my camera to make the light a little more diffused. We'll be going into our lip product. For the lips, I'll be taking a very neutral shade. This one's from NARS. And I like to kind of anchor my finger when I'm lining the lips, just so I have better control. Oh my god, this pencil sucks. NARS, what are you doing? I think this is my punishment for not using Chanel makeup, even though that sucks too. Okay. Oh my god, are those helicopters? Ooh. Starting with the Cupid's bow, trace following your vermilion border. That means that line where you have natural lip color. So just trace that. So after you line your lips, take a brush and very, very softly go over that line that you just did and gently diffuse it. So that will help your lip line look just a little bit bigger than it actually is. And I know you probably see my mustache from here, but you know what? I'm still expecting a Chanel bag at the end of this date. Next, we're going into our lipstick, and today I'll be using Musique Mansion. This is a liquid lipstick. I adore it. It's my favorite liquid lipstick of all time. It's nice and watery, but it also goes on super smooth and it stays on without transferring. And just apply it like any old liquid lipstick. This one is a lot sheerer than the full coverage liquid lipstick. Yeah, and this liquid lipstick, it's so beautiful. It's so sheer, but it's so buildable. I really like doing a monochromatic ombre with a product like this one, very buildable. It gives the lips a lot more dimension. It makes the whole look a lot softer, just even at a glance. And finally, for the final touch, I will be going into my highlighter products, and I will be walking you through a very quick little tips and tricks scenario on how to get glass skin with minimal products. Take a highlighter balm. It doesn't have to have any sort of glitter. I actually prefer it not to have any glitter. This one is not bad. It's very dewy. And using your fingertips, gently roll this product over the tops of your cheekbones. Take this highlight from the cheekbone all the way up to the temples. And this is how you get that glass skin effect. So this type of effect, it's not going to last all day. In fact, I'd be shocked if it were to last more than an hour. I really love glass skin, but at the same time, it's not something that I would work that hard on applying and reapplying throughout the day. And then you can do some on your chin and your Cupid bow and even the bridge of your nose. And if you ask me if you should apply this product on your nose tip, I would say absolutely not. What the hell is wrong with you? This much is all you need for the bridge of your nose. Get the most of this product on the tops of your cheeks. Get some at your temple, right above the arch of your eyebrow. All right, and I think this is it. Okay, guys, so this is our look for today. Okay, so that's it for today's makeup tutorial. I had a lot of fun researching a little bit on this topic. I'm always a huge fan of Korean makeup trends. I think they're always super lovely to follow. Some of my favorite makeup right now are from Asia, Korea, and just when I thought prestige level makeup couldn't get any better, we had some bangers that really just took it out of the park. I'm obsessed with this highlighter. It's the best I've ever tried. I'm obsessed with this liquid lipstick, best I ever tried. Both Asian Beauty, I think you can get them from Olive Young or Amazon. So I'm always happy to have an excuse to just talk about them a little bit. And yeah, if you guys like this tutorial, let me know, give me a comment, give me a like, any kind of engagement helps. Yeah, and I'm trying to do more makeup videos on my channel. I'm a trend follower. I always like picking things up as they come along, so definitely subscribe if you want to see more makeup content, makeup, beauty, and maybe health and wellness content. And yeah, that's it for today's beauty talk, and I will see you in the next one.